Hi guys, and welcome back to the Spfl RTG on FC26. And as you can see in front of you, thanks to the new promos that have been released during the World Cup, we do have a few significant upgrades to the team in front of us, and obviously every single position in the team is actually being represented by a different club in the league. So of course, Suman in goals representing Aberdeen, Jamie Brandon at right back for Kilmarnock. We have Fernandez for Rangers, Kumetio for Dundee, the new promo Kieran Tierney, which can actually play centre-half as well, representing Celtic. We have Mark O'Hara representing St Mirren, despite the fact that he has just transferred in real life to Kilmarnock. Kamara representing Dundee United, Graham Carey representing Livingston, Kiziridis representing Hearts, Mazwanize representing Motherwell, and Barney Stewart representing Falkirk, again, despite the fact that he's left for West Brom. But in terms of the team in front of us for the starting 11 anyway, no one lower than 95 rated, which is really quite good to see. We need another goalkeeper evolution to get Suman up to that kind of level, but even so, with the play styles that he's got and the height that he is, he's definitely our best option for the goalkeeper. But the purpose of this video is just to provide kind of a little update on how the actual squads are looking for each of the teams, what our fodder's looking like and stuff like that, and also to announce that I am going to be live right now as this video gets posted. Obviously, depending on when you're watching this, I might not be live, but as soon as this video is posted, I'll be live on the channel streaming the Futchamps games, at least 3 to 5 of them. Try to stream for at least an hour, and I'm going to start streaming my Futchamps games on the YouTube channel and Twitch whenever I'm playing through them. So if you feel like giving that a watch, you absolutely can. So before getting on to the actual teams and stuff, here's the record in front of us. Of course, 1,168 wins, 32 draws and 804 losses. We do, to support Scotland, even though we're out of the World Cup, have the Scotland kit on, and it's impossible at the moment to get the away kit on the market, I'm feeling like. So I've got the Haiti one since they were in our group, and they're the closest colour to our actual away top, just kind of as a stand-in there at the moment until I can find it. And then, of course, we have in front of us our actual club stats. So we're sitting on a really nice bit of profit of 7.3 million, near enough, which has come from packing some decent players from rewards and stuff like that. A match earnings of 770k, and then a club value of just over 500 million as well. So not too bad for an RTG, I would say. So going through some of the squads that we've got at the moment, this is how our silver team's looking. Changed a little bit because of some other evos that have made players a wee bit too higher rated, but we've got that Lisa there that we put the cosmetic on to be able to craft them how we wanted to. You can of course also play right back. We've got the bronze team there, and I decided to take a wee bit of a technical plus evo onto Scott Tiffany. We did of course have a bronze event earlier in the year. Nothing's transpired from that since then though, but just in case, we're ready to go. Now on to the actual individual teams, on how they're looking with all the different Evo players I've done. So any Aberdeen fans out there, that's how the Aberdeen team is looking. Technically I just need to Evo a centre mid, a centre half and a left back, and I've got a full Evo Aberdeen team. On to Celtic, which EA have been extremely kind with any promo cards and stuff, or SBCs. Of course, we just got the new Dyson Maeda the other day, and depending on how Japan get on against Brazil, he could upgrade to 95 rated. But we have a nice contingent of Celtic players in front of us there for any Celtic fans. On to Dundee, not quite as far along as some of the others. I still need to get a goalkeeper, left back, another centre mid, because Digby has technically had an Evo on him, and then a right wing and left wing Evo, and then we are in a position where we would have a full Evo Dundee team. But the Dundee players themselves, apart from Dre Wright, haven't really used him as much. Kumetio, Graham, Danda and Murray have all had good use. On to the Dundee United team. Ferry and Thompson, despite being high rated, not as much use out of them, but Kamara and Stevenson and Sapsford have all had a lot of use out of them in the RTG. Fata and Trapanovsky, they're kind of just there, haven't really used them in any ones, but we're getting there with the Dundee United team as well. On to Falkirk. As you can see, we are a goalkeeper, centre-half and 2 centre-mids away from a full Evo Falkirk team there. A nice 94 rated Calvin Miller, 93 rated Aguiman, 91 Mackey, 94 Arfield, 95 Adams and 95 Barney Stewart. Lisa, of course, only at 70 rated. Hearts, a little bit away from them, right back and two centre mids, and then of course we could potentially have been a wee bit further along as well with Hearts in general. Stephen Kingsley's stats aren't the greatest, for example. I haven't really touched Stuart Finlay in a little while, but the front three have all had extreme use out of them over the lifespan of the RTG in different versions, in Shankon's case as well. Hibs, we are a centre half away from a full Evo Hibs team. We just started that Josh Mulligan as well. Paslak hasn't really had all that use apart from maybe Gauntlet teams. Cadden I've got a fair bit of use out of. Bashiri not really. Salinger again in Gauntlets. Chaiwa's had a lot of use out of him. Kleegi had a lot of use earlier in the year, and of course Martin Boyle has had a fair bit of use and is still on my bench. On to Kilmarnock, that Dackers is lethal up top. Watson was used for a fair bit. Beach, not great in game, but it is what it is. And Jamie Brandon is, of course, in the starting 11 at the moment. Finlay Curtis and Scott Tiffany have both been evoed as well. So we're two centre mids and then two centre halves and a left back away from a full evo Kilmarnock team. On to Livingston, we're only a goalkeeper, right back and centre mid away from a full Evo Livingston team there. Of course, we have our front three, which Lewis Smith actually, after the time of recording, has now become 95 rated after the new striker Evo that came out. Carey is, of course, in the starting 11 at the moment. Wanner was used for a fair bit of time. Bokila, really good in game. Ryan McGowan was one of the first centre halves we Evo throughout the year, so Livy have had a fair bit of use this year. On to Motherwell, where Elijah Just and Mazwinize are the only ones that are currently being used either on the bench in the starting 11. We've got a Reagan Charles Cook in there, and then Longello was evoed throughout the year too. Stephen Welsh and Paul McGinn have been evoed too, despite their low ratings, so we just need a right back, three centre mids and a goalkeeper for a Motherwell full team. The Rangers one is, of course, complete. We have the promo Liam Kelly, the end of era James Tavernier. We had the foot birthday Asgard, the winter wildcards Raskin as well. Chermitty's in form. As much as we've had a team of the season, Fernandez, the Evo that I'd done was better on him. We've got John Suter, the promo Max Aaron. So Rangers, like Celtic, have had some promo cards this year. Not as many as Celtic though, but it has helped them along. And then on to St Mirren. That Iunga is a recent completion. Haven't really been able to use his final version in game yet. Mark O'Hara, of course, is in the starting 11. He replaced Bacchus in the starting 11, in fairness. We got a fair use out of Declan John this year. Same with Tanzer a little bit, and then Gogic is there. So again, we need a goalkeeper Evo. We haven't had enough of those this year, in my opinion. And then we need a centre half, centre mid, right wing, and striker for a full St Mirren team. So very quickly onto the teams we'll be using for the Gauntlet when it comes out. As you can see, the first Gauntlet team is just the starting 11 that we use. The second Gauntlet team there, we've got Beach in goals with Adams, Carter Vickers, Austin Trusty and Tanzer at the back. Bacchus, Arfield and Watson in midfield. And then Braga, who we used the Evo to turn him into a cam there, with Elijah Just and Martin Boyle up front for the second Gauntlet team. Our third Gauntlet team, Salinger in goals with Alistair Johnson, John Suter, Danny Wilson and Nicky Cadden at the back. Chaiwa, Stevenson and Hatate as the midfielders. And then Jota, we used the Maradona Evo to turn him into a cam and then gave him the cosmetic to put a fourth playstyle on him. Elding in there and Bokila up top. And then our fourth Gauntlet team, because I think you only need 4 this time, we do have enough to make 5 if need be. We've got Liam Kelly in goals with Paslak, McGowan, Tobers and Mackey at the back. Oxlade, Chamberlain, Stuart Armstrong and Leighton Clarkson in the midfield, with Shanklin, Sapsford and Maeda up top. And that's hopefully going to help us along in the Gauntlet. And now just getting to kind of what our high rated cards are looking like in the club. Of course, some of them are fodder with the Yang and Maeda SBCs. Of course, we did use some of the fodder in the club, but also with the objectives for the national objectives that have been coming out over the World Cup. Yes, you get packs and stuff like that, but the Evos are, of course, what I've been interested in. We've needed some players for that. And the fodder has been able to help us along in that regard. As you can see there, we've got some nice high-rated fodder that we could use for an SBC in Donnarumma and Saliba if need be. And then we've got our cards like Sanchez, Aloran and Okocha in front of us there as well that we've been able to use. We obviously, of course, have the other Kieran Tierney who we had evoed before the new Tierney promo card came out. And then a couple more cards in front of us there. Voller, Carlos Alberto, Drogba, stuff like that. Some of the season pass players like Xerxes as well, but then we've got some red picks in front of us there too. And then we've got the likes of an Iker Casillas, for example, a few Japanese and Korean players from those objectives, all that stuff. The Embuemo, we never actually did the SPC for. That was that pick that we got, and he was high rated, so I'm like, I'll be taking him for fodder and potential Premier League objectives down the line. We got the new Batistuta as well, although his dynamic image isn't loading. Some of the dynamic images don't load, as you're aware, sometimes. Then getting down to some 93 ratings, and that entire page is actually players you've already seen. Along with that being mostly the case on this page, with the exception of Rivaldo, Can and Gerd Müller. So that's going to do it for the update on the SPFL RTG. As I said, when this video goes live, I will be live for at least 45 minutes to an hour doing some Futchamps games on stream on YouTube and Twitch. So if you feel like checking that out, that would be greatly appreciated. And if you are new around here, please consider checking out some of the other content on the channel, liking and subscribing, and I'll catch you in the next one.